Patrick here. If you like watching these videos or get anything out of them, please subscribe and comment and like and all that. For everybody who has already subscribed and commenting and liking and everything, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the guys who have sent me messages on Facebook or YouTube asking questions and giving input and everything. That's really cool. I didn't expect that, but it's cool to be able to talk to other people about stuff, hunting wise and stuff. And anyway, I wanted to thank David Schneider of Whiskey City Trad Gear. We got some stuff coming up we're going to be doing, so stay tuned for that. Go to his channel and subscribe if you want to see some of that stuff, plus my channel. So anyway, if you like traditional archery, go check that out. Even if you don't and you just like watching somebody who's entertaining, go watch him, because he's a lot more entertaining to watch than I am. But he's a good guy. I've been thinking about this topic for a while to talk about, and yesterday I was messaging with Paul Putera, and he mentioned it too, so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do it. But you know, he says he gets people asking all the time. He does a lot of podcasts, so if you watch podcasts, you probably know who he is. But he gets asked all the time about tactics. That's what I wanted to talk about. And I did a video a few days ago. If you have not seen that, go watch that. That's called Nobody Can Tell You How to Kill a Big Deer. That's pretty much part one of this part two video. So this will probably make more sense if you've seen that. But I see a lot of, on Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff, I see a lot of guys asking about tactics, which that's what we talked about in the last one. Nobody can tell you, their tactic, what to do, and it's going to work for you. Well, a lot of questions are about gear also. Mobile hunting has exploded recently in the last few years. So I'm going to tell you the best thing you can buy. If you're going to go spend money, you got some money burning a hole in your pocket, and you want to buy something for hunting. And keep in mind that if you're just looking to hunt deer, don't pay any attention to you. Don't pay any attention to me. This video is not for you. This is for people who are trying to hunt mature bucks. The best thing you can buy, you got to buy something. Go buy this. A pair of good boots. It does not have to be Crispies. Crispies are great though. I really recommend those. These are the Guide GTXs. I absolutely love these. I have another pair that are synthetic, but I like the leather personally. But anyway, Lowas are good. Kenetreks. There's a bunch of good boots. Especially if you hunt in the mountains, you want a stiff boot. It makes the biggest difference between a stiff boot and one that's not. Especially going on side hills and going up and down steep terrain. It's unbelievable. It really makes a huge difference. So anyway, the purpose I say to have boots is because it does not matter what gear you have. I don't care what bow you have. It does not matter how much FOC your arrows have. It does not matter which broadhead you finally decided to go use after watching 100 reviews. None of that matters. If you don't have the deer to hunt, you have to have the deer to hunt. If you're set on killing a mature buck, but you're just going out here hoping and praying that one's going to walk by, it could. It's happened. But I'm telling you, your odds are going to go up drastically, obviously, if you know that deer is there. You cannot kill it if it is not there, if it's not on the property that you're hunting. Whether it's public, private, it doesn't matter. If the deer is not there, you can't make it happen. It does not. None of the other stuff matters. None of the gear matters. So that's the first thing. You got to have a good pair of boots, and you got to go find this deer. I know a lot of guys that are watching these are hunting public and mountains and big woods and some ag country, but a lot of public guys, people who don't have, you know, a lot of acres in the Midwest, that's manicured farms with food plots, and you know, and protein feeders and all this stuff. That's a whole different ball game. If you hunt there, don't even listen to what I got to say, because I don't know nothing about it except that it's different. So anyway, you got to have the good boots. You got to go out there and look. You got to have, I like to have hard facts that deer exists. I like to have a picture of them in person with a trail camera. You can get these things now, $20, $30, $40 a piece, and they'll do just fine for what you need them to do. You just need to see the size of the deer is what you want, what time he's doing, what time he's there, and that he does indeed exist. I like to find big tracks, but I'm going to tell you, not all big deer have big tracks. I've killed some that you wouldn't know their track any different from a 2-year-old buck. Now, if you find a big track and you know what you're looking for, I mean, if you've seen some tracks in your time and you can really tell the difference between a big one and a smaller one or a doe, you know, but if you find a big one, you know you have something. But I still like to have their picture just to know what I'm dealing with. You can look for big sign. I like big rubs. Bigger trees I like. I like finding rubs that are higher up on the tree. You know, higher up means he's got a bigger rack. He's a taller statured deer. Little deer can't reach up but so far. So you'll know it if you see one higher. It's about probably 8, 10, 12 inches higher than your average rubs you see out there. But so I don't always go off sign. One of the deer I'm hunting this year doesn't leave any sign. I have never found a single thing from him. If I just didn't know that he was there from trail cameras and just believing that the spot held a big deer, you would never think he lived there. There's actually 2 shooters in that area, but one of them's really nice. But anyway, so trail cameras are very important. You got to have cold hard evidence that deer lives there. I would rather have a $20, you know, a 20-year-old PSE bow that I can hit something at 20 yards with it and hunt that on the ground, but I know the big deer lives there. It doesn't matter if you got a brand new Hoyt Matthews, Elite, whatever. It does not matter the arrows, the broadheads, the tree stand. None of that matters if the deer is not there. So money cannot buy that. That's up to you. Whether you know, and it's up to me whether I find it. If you see it on a piece of property, you riding down the road, you can hunt there or whatever. However you know that this deer exists. This microphone keeps pulling my shirt down. I hope you can hear me better with this new microphone. It's pouring raining outside, so I hope it doesn't mess the audio up very much. But anyway, another thing I want to touch on is mobile hunting has exploded. Now, I think mobile hunting is fantastic, but along with that, I keep seeing people talk about first sit's best sit. As in the first time they sit an area, they jump around, and the first time they sit there is the best. Alright. I'm not by any means telling you to do what I say. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of podcasts you watch, a lot of this information out there is 95% regurgitated information. These people hear stuff from other people. They don't know if it's right or not. They just believe it. Now they're out here telling everybody else. I don't know if you ever noticed or not, but every time on a podcast, in the background, they always got their deer heads hanging on the wall. Have you noticed that? Because of all the spots they could possibly pick to do that podcast, you know, their video, it just happens to be where the deer heads are in the background. I find that funny. But I had watched a podcast the other day. It was a fellow, it was his first time on one. And he had 2 deer heads hanging on the wall. Well, he had 2 more laying on the floor, leaned up against the wall behind it. I know those deer wasn't sitting there. They'd been hanging somewhere else. He brought them over and laid them behind him. You know, I guess it makes people think that what they're telling you is valuable and you should listen to them because they've got lucky and killed a couple big ones. Also, you don't know if these people are killing deer over bait. You don't know if they're road hunting. You don't know if those mounts are their grandfather's mounts that they inherited from him and now they got them hanging on their wall. You just don't know. So you got to really look at, you know, the small details and pay attention to what you're listening to. I'm not telling you what to do. I could care less. I just want to try to help somebody learn from my mistakes. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out. But anyway, so the mobile hunting. I've been mobile hunting since 2008. I was 18. I bought my first Lone Wolf tree stand. It's that one. And I bought the Lone Wolf sticks to go with it. Like I said, that was 2008. Back then, there was not YouTube, Facebook, and all that. We had Archery Talk, which was a forum online. I think it's still out there. You go and talk hunting and tactics and archery. And mobile hunting was a thing back then. It's just, we didn't have YouTube and stuff, so it wasn't as popular as it is now. But that's where I was young and I tried everything I could to figure this out. So I got into mobile hunting. After that, I think it was probably 2010, I bought this Muddy right here. I don't know if a lot of you guys even know about this, but it's got these things on it right now. I'm drawing a blank right now what they're called, but they're extremely popular now for sticks and one sticking. I cannot believe I forgot what they're called, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But Muddy made this tree stand back in the day. It's probably about 2010. So I bought that. I got the Muddy Pro sticks with it. Those are the cam cleats, that's what they're called. They're extremely popular now, but we was using these back then. You know, I was 20 years old. So this stuff is not new. That's what I'm getting at. It's been around for a long time. Even before that, even before I started doing it, people were doing it. So I kept hearing first sit's best sit, you know. So I go down there and I start jumping around all over the place. And it just was not working for me. Now I think if you, all right, we'll straighten a couple of things up here. I think if you hunt in areas that have multiple big deer that are in daylight a lot, they're very, very active, then yes, jumping around could probably work. Those deer don't act like that in Virginia where I'm at. Maybe some properties do, but not anywhere I've ever been. Anyway, now I love mobile hunting, you can tell. I got saddles, I got Lone Wolf custom gear stuff, .5. I mean, I really love it. But the reason in October, now our pre-rut starts about Halloween. That's really when it starts kicking off. So the month of October till through Halloween, I'm mobile. These deer are on such a tight pattern. There is so much food out there. They're not going far. They're just, I mean, if you're not within 100 to 200 yards max of that big buck where he's bedding at, you have no chance of killing that deer in October. Very, very slim. You got to be right on top of them. And that's where mobile hunting comes in. If you watch my videos come October, I'll sit in the area probably 2 evenings in a row. If I don't see what I like, I'm moving. I'm going to keep doing that because if I'm not seeing him, I'm not close enough. But I'll give it 2 days opportunity for it to work. But I am extremely mobile. I personally hate October. First week, well, from Halloween to about November 10th is my personal favorite. But anyway, mobile hunting and that is fantastic. Now, what I want to get at, and again, I'm just giving you another point of view. I'm not somebody who's trying to sell something or make you think that I know what I'm talking about and you got to do it my way. Nothing like that. I'm just giving you another point of view from somebody who is not in the industry. I have personally found that jumping around during the rut is not good. Not at the places I'm hunting. And my tactic is I find a spot that's a good rut funnel that I know that's going to get daylight activity, and I go and sit there. I'll sit there 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row. I don't care. You always hear about people saying you burn out spots. Unless you are going in bedding areas and bumping deer out constantly and going in their core areas and just messing them up, it's not as big of a deal as you think it is. During the rut, big deer have one thing on their mind, and it's not you. You can get by with a lot more stuff during the rut than you can other times of the year. So I'll give you an example. Last year, the big buck I was hunting, he was on our farm, and he was in a spot, there was some scrapes there, and it was a natural funnel. Now, it wasn't a funnel like that had topography or something like that to funnel the deer. Well, it did topography, but it didn't have any like big rocks or blowdowns or anything like that to funnel deer. It's just a natural funnel. The deer just go through there, going from bedding area to bedding area. It took me a long time to figure that out, but after years of hunting down there, I figured it out, and it's now my favorite spot. But last year, October 30th, the buck I was hunting daylighted on a scrape that morning. It was 8 or 8:30 that morning. I was at work. I took off the first week in November. I hunted that spot pretty much every day through that first week, and I saw every buck I had pictures of on our farm came through there at one point or another throughout that week during daylight. I could have shot them all. The only one that didn't show up was the big one. Now, some of those deer, the 2-year-old deer, I could have killed multiple times coming through there. But what I'm getting at is I hunted there for a week straight, went back to work. The day I went back to work, he came through there at 12:30 in the evening, and then came back through again at 4:30 that later on that evening. Came through twice the day I went back to work. That week I was hunting there, I was seeing as many deer there on the last day I hunted as the first day I hunted. But it's not up in the middle of bedding areas. It's not really bumping them out. I can slip to this area. There's some acorn trees right there, so deer are eating there sometimes when I go in. It happens. But yeah, that deer came through. I got his cell cam pics while I was at work the day I went back to work. Not once, but twice. He just walked straight on through there. I guess he was going to check one of the bedding areas for some does. But anyway, I cannot count the times throughout my years of hunting, the amount of deer that I have got pictures of in areas. I'll be hunting there a few days and then I switch and then they come through. Or it's just, you get in these rut funnels and these deer just funnel through out there through the rut. It's really a great tactic. If you're in big woods, mountains, some ag where you don't have deer daylighting constantly and you can just run around and chase them. When you're getting trail cam pictures of different areas, say if you have 5 trail cam pictures throughout your area and you're getting a picture of him, every time you get a picture of him, you're behind him. You need to be in front of him what he's going to do next. Every time you're reacting to what he did by getting trail cam pictures, you're already behind him. You need to figure out what he's going to do and get ahead of him. Sitting in those rut funnels can put you ahead of him. It might take 2 days. It might take 6 days, whatever. But if you have that feeling and you know deer daylighting through there, if you just sit and wait. If I would have just sat and waited these years that I grew up hunting in these spots that I know are good, I just can't tell you the amount of deer I would have killed that I should have had the opportunities that I've either seen or got pictures of or whatever that's told me through the years that these deer are going through there. And I missed the opportunities because I'm too busy jumping around chasing my tail. I want you to, if you're new, this is for the new guy obviously, but anyway, I want you to figure out what works for you. But just because you are hearing these people talk about you need to be first sit's best sit, be mobile, yada, 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 give it a try, give it a shot. Sitting in certain areas for days on end, especially if you're a mountain hunter, big woods hunter. These deer are on loops. You know, they go, we don't have does just everywhere. We have does in pockets. And these bucks, it takes them a few days to go on these loops to check these does and stuff. It's going to take him a few days to come back through there. So anyway, just give it a shot and think about it. I'm just trying to help if I could help somebody by what I've learned, and I'm not just regurgitating this information. I'm telling you this because I have actually witnessed it. I've actually done it. I've lived it. So I love mobile gear. I don't care if you want to, you find a big buck. I don't care what tree stand you got, anything. If you want to buy Lone Wolf custom gear, XOP, it doesn't matter. Just know that it's not going to put you in the tree you need to be in. Literally, I mean, it will put you in the tree, but you got to pick the spot. And that's really the hardest part, but I think that's it. I tell you though, I love this Lone Wolf tree stand. I think it's the Alpha. It's the big one. Novix makes the same thing now, but it's the big one. I got that and these original Lone Wolf sticks. Novix makes these still also. The single step, 3-step. That is my favorite setup. If I could only keep one tree stand setup, that's what it would be. My Lone Wolf .5. This is a Novix Hilo. But this little guy, this is an awesome little mobile stand. But I'm gonna tell you, it's small. But if I could only pick one, it would be that tree stand and sticks I bought in 2008. Those are really hard to beat. But I mentioned in another video I don't do presets a lot. Now, I will if I know that it's a good spot. This November up in the mountain, I got a couple spots I'm going to pick. And once I hunt a little bit and figure those out, I'll probably be hanging that. I love having a preset in certain areas that are rut funnels that I know the deer are going to pass through. So I understand some guys can't leave up stands on public, but if you can, that's really a good option. It really gets old after setting up your mobile setup, your sticks and your saddle and all that, you know, every time you go out there. Also, if you prefer a saddle, I prefer a saddle for shooting a traditional bow out of. It's easier for me, but you can get, I'm not saying you have to get this, but this is Trophyline Mission. I use this for presets. I'll leave the sticks and leave the platform in the tree and just bring out my saddle so I don't have to set it up all the time. I use it just like a preset. You can get some, XOP has some stands for between $80 and $120. I think they're $80 when you get them on sale, that are cast aluminum like these, and they would be great for presets. So just because you're saddle hunting doesn't mean you can't do that. If you can leave stands on public. But anyway, I think that's all, guys. Again, I appreciate everybody commenting and you know, sending me messages and all that. I really do appreciate it. This has been pretty fun. So anyway, I got a lot more content coming up. I ordered a drone, so I'm gonna be using that for make some videos with, and we got hunting season will be here before we know it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.